Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another daily analysis of AMP. This is what we do each and every day, just taking a look at the technicals for AMP specifically, and how things could possibly play out, right? And also, looking at some of the things that we have going on in the news and sort of, taking a macro analysis perspective, keeping in mind Bitcoin as always, right? It tends to be the market leader. Altcoins and stable coins tend to follow in the direction of Bitcoin, but AMP is definitely positioned to be one of the unique tokens that is soon to be decoupled from Bitcoin. And I say that because the value of AMP isn't necessarily derived from holders, right? It's derived from the utility of the token. So how many transactions take place on the Flexin network, or how many projects end up utilizing AMP as collateral for any form of transfer of value, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a deep dive in on the technicals and see what we have going on today, right? So as previously mentioned, our falling wedge is still being respected, right? Today is July 2nd. And we can see that, we are sitting slightly below our huge trend line on the daily, right? This isn't anything to sort of worry or panic about, because we are still bouncing around on our support line of 0.055, right? This is our strong support, right? This is support that's been touched over 5 times, right? I don't suspect this support to break at all. For that reason, we have so many touches on it, and again, it's sort of normal for patterns to fall below trend lines briefly before either moving up or retesting it and possibly falling down to the downside, right? So nothing to worry about right now. We don't have any confirmations that we're going to go lower. We don't have anything validating or invalidating the case that we built up for this trend line being a very strong in terms of where the market is going to continue to go up and follow, right? So nothing too crazy on the daily. Again, we're just floating around on our support like we've been doing since June 22nd, actually, right? That's when we first hit it. We fell below it just a little bit, had a low of 0.05 cents even, right on the dot, and we've been floating around ever since. So that's just building up a stronger case for us, letting us know that this is our official support, and also just letting the smart money know that the last of the weak hands could possibly be out of the market at this point. So that's what we have going on the daily. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, right? On the 4-hour, we can see what's going on just a little bit more in detail. We are still respecting our bullish crab harmonic pattern, right? We can see a little bit more in detail how we did fall below our huge trend line on the daily and weekly, just a tad bit. But again, like, we are still floating on our support, right? That's what these two lines are, right? We're still floating in between our support of 0.055. So until we break that, right, and I have an alert here, if we do drop to 0.053, that's when I think that we'll have to adjust to what's going on in the market and sort of reassess what's been validated and what's been invalidated, right? Because if we do break our floor of 0.053, our next target, right, I think that we can fall down to 0.047 before dropping down to 0.038. 0.038 was our previous line of strong support all the way down here, right? Boom, we see this big wick, right? This is letting us know that we have a lot of bull presence. So again, we just have to be a little bit patient to see what's going to happen, right? We built up a strong bullish case, but what Bitcoin is doing right now, short term, can allow us to justify a possible bear case, right? If Bitcoin falls, how low will it fall, and how will that affect AMP? And also, how would that affect the entire crypto market, right? These are just all things that we have to keep in mind. And I'll pull up Bitcoin's chart after we finish going through AMP, just so you all can see, what's going on. But yeah, that's what we have going on with the 4 hour. And last but not least, let's take a look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour, we can kind of see the same thing, right? We are still bouncing off of our support levels, right? We came down here on the second around 11 a.m. We had a low of 0.054, right? And it looks like we are still trending down just a tad bit, right? But again, we have so many touches on our support line that, to me, it just builds up a stronger bullish case that, we may very well move up because we have so much strong support here, right? Again, I will continue to say this, guys. We just have to be patient, right? We just have to be patient to see what's going to happen. So that's what we have going on for AMP. I will go back to the daily just so you guys can see the big picture, right? So this is the big picture I see playing out, right? We have this huge ascending triangle, as I stated previously. I do have alerts for, if we fall to the downside or if we move up to the upside, right? To the upside, a great price to retest our previous support that was flipped into resistance would be 0.074. And if we fall to the downside, just a tad bit, right? I think that our first indicator that we would be going a little bit lower is if we do touch the 0.053 or even the 5 cents mark on the dot. But again, I don't foresee this happening. Just our technicals have been respected since June 22nd. So and that's a long time. We're now in July 2nd, right? So over a period of weeks, not even days, guys, over a period of weeks, I can measure this out to July 2nd, and we can see over a period of 10 days, right, our technicals have been respected, and this is really good. So that's the big picture for AMP. Let's look at Bitcoin, just so you guys can get an additional perspective about what Bitcoin is doing. So we all knew that Bitcoin did, have that huge fall, right? Huge sell-off, a lot of distribution going on here. This is what you call smart money, taking profits, right? And we have been in this accumulation phase for quite some time, right? Sort of drawing over this price bar. We've been in this accumulation phase since the selling climax for 43 days, guys. 43 days, Bitcoin has been in this consolidation phase, and this is prime levels for accumulation, right? Smart money has definitely been accumulating, and I think I said this in my previous post, but they don't have to buy from the traditional exchanges like we do, right? Retail investors, we tend to make purchases through exchanges like Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, things that can give us, or things that can give analysts on-chain analytics to market activity. But smart money, who's making big orders, like I'm talking about millions, guys, millions. They have different outlets, whether if it's arbitrarily owning Bitcoin or buying over the counter. And those methods of purchasing big orders like that, they do not move the price. I repeat, they do not move the price. So, solely focusing on chain analysis isn't necessarily the best thing to do because, you're going to be missing a lot of data. So For anybody that's sort of new to technical analysis, one of the popular things that a lot of traders have been talking about right now is the Wyckoff distribution and accumulation theory, right? Which basically is used when we know that smart money are in the markets or in a particular market, and we know that they're in Bitcoin's market, right? So it's only right to utilize a theory that we know can help us become more informed about how they're thinking and why price is moving that way. So, we have this huge selling climax right here, right? We have this preliminary support line at we had a low of 30,000, right? We had this automatic reaction where we went up to retest the previous resistance. And then we had this this test right here, right? This is our secondary test. Boom. We had a low of 31,000, right? And then we built up a case. We consolidated a little bit. Then we came down and we had another test of 31,000. And then we went up again. We're building up more cases. And then, the smart money, they wanted to test again just to get the weak hands out, right? So we went a little bit lower. We had a low of $28,600, right? A lower low than our preliminary support, right? And this is just building up the case again that we are entering the Wyckoff accumulation case, right? There's rarely going to be a case where you have two distribution phases, which is when the market goes down twice, right? There's rarely going to be a case when you see that with using the Wyckoff theory. So this is why I say that we're just building up a stronger case for the Wyckoff accumulation theory, right? After the spring, we normally have about 3 higher highs and 3 higher lows. So, we have a test right here. We have the spring, which is the low, and then we have a higher high. We have a higher low, we have a higher high. It looks like we're forming a higher low right here. And if that is the case, if this is our new higher low, then I expect us to have a higher high up here somewhere, right? And possibly a higher low right here, and then possibly a retest to the $43,000 level up here, right? And this will be our sign of strength, right? Once we have our sign of strength, we may very well form a bull flag, right? Pullback would be healthy before going up, right? So this is what we want. We don't want to go straight up. So this is what's going on with Bitcoin. And, as I said before, in order for all of the entire crypto market, including altcoins, to perform well, Bitcoin has to have some sort of growth, right? It has to have some healthy movements, right? We know that AMP is one of the outliers, but again, right? If Bitcoin does fall below $28,000, where will that leave AMP, right? AMP will definitely be at a true test of its time, but again, we just have to be a little bit patient to see how these markets play out, right? We definitely do have a strong case for building a Wyckoff accumulation theory, right? Especially if we put in 2 more higher highs and 2 more higher lows on the daily, right? We know that the technicals for AMP are being respected, so I did think that we were going to have some movement for AMP possibly this week, but it seems like the market wants to move a little bit slower. It may be a little bit more time for folks to accumulate just a little bit more before truly taking off, but possibly next week. We shall see, right? We shall see. We'll see what the market does. So until then, guys, I don't see any reason to panic in the long term, right? In the short term, I still don't see any reason to panic, especially with AMP, right? This is a long-term investment, and I'm doing these daily technical analysis videos. For anybody that's interested in trading this, I do have a separate portfolio that I'm just using just to trade, and the only market that I am trading is AMP, right? It just makes sense. I consider myself a specialist when it comes to trading AMP. My other portfolio, I just have AMP staking on Flex Capacity, which is what it was meant to do. So if you are not staking your AMP and collecting rewards, you are doing yourself a disservice. And by doing that, not only do you accumulate rewards, but you also get a chance to help to secure the network, right? So I strongly advise anybody who's not staking Flexa yet on, or who's not staking AMP yet on Flexa Capacity, to go ahead and do that, right? Huge benefits to doing that. So that's what we have going on the daily analysis number 19 for AMP today. And until tomorrow, y'all, just stay strong, right? Just be patient, enjoy life, enjoy time with your family, enjoy the little things, because at the end of the day, just have to remember, this is a long-term investment, and everything will play out, right? Everything will play out. So I love you guys. If you like this content, definitely be sure to like, subscribe, and share, please. Add some comments if you like. Donations are welcome, but not necessary. But this will be an ongoing thing. This will be daily, guys. This will be daily. So I love you all. Take care, and until tomorrow, peace out.